But there is something else that happened. We had the Danny Dietrich instance the other day where there was the clip circulating of him going up to Anthony Macri and yelling at him, and there was a wreck on a restart. And in that video, we all heard the guy saying, you didn't even, you weren't even supposed to be there, Danny. You weren't even fucking supposed to be there. Because he's talking to Danny Dietrich, that Danny Dietrich shouldn't even fucking been there. Apparently, this is true. And BAPS Motorsports, or Motor Speedway, literally released a post on how this is true, and they are changing their ways. So the statement, basically, long story short, it has to do with Danny Dietrich doing a 360 spin on lap 28 of the 410 sprint car feature and kept going. He was given the second starting spot on the restart when he should have been fourth. This is in regards to the blend-in rule. And they are basically saying that the blend-in rule is done. We're not doing it anymore. So when this whole fight happens with Danny Dietrich, or this instance on the restart with Danny Dietrich happens, let's go ahead and push play on this. The situation at hand is Danny Dietrich was battling with Justin Peck. He had been leading laps. Dietrich comes in here, he's leading. Peck was all over him, though. I mean, he didn't have the speed to hold Peck off. That's just the truth. Peck was on a rail. He comes down here, puts a sweet little slider on Danny. Danny gets scared or something happens. He jumps the cushion, and he goes to spin around. And when he gets to going, the blend-in rule, which would be right there, Macri had just passed. Macri had just passed him. You see Macri's wing go by. They are saying right there it would have been fourth, but I'm thinking you shouldn't even be blending into your going, which would have been behind Michael Millard, but it's a judgment call. And then because of this, when they went to place Dietrich into the second spot, you will see it right here. They placed Dietrich into the second spot, and the ensuing restart is when all of this occurs with Macri and Dietrich. So the 360 blend-in rule is what's being blamed here. And this guy in the infield who was screaming at Macri, or screaming at Dietrich, shut the fuck up, you shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny. Apparently, and a lot of people, who was that guy? Yo, fuck him, he's a dumbass, fuck that guy, how dare. It's just like Larsonites, they got Danny Knights or something up there. I gotta make a name for them too. Where Danny Dietrich can't do anything wrong, and anyone who says anything to him negatively is sent from the devil. But this is an instance where this guy who was cussing from the infield at Dietrich as Dietrich's kicking in, Macri's car and yelling at Macri, apparently is true. He shouldn't have fucking been there. He shouldn't have fucking been there. And not is that fan correct in saying that, but now the track has literally came over and acknowledged this as true. Because they have literally said, we did it wrong. Danny, basically this post by BAPS is, on BAPS' Facebook, to sum this up, says, Danny Dietrich shouldn't even fucking been there. You shouldn't even, literally, BAPS is literally saying, you shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny. And now, because of that, this judgment call of blend-in rule, we're not going to deal with this shit no more. And here's a quote. In an effort to be transparent about the situation, we admit there was an error in instituting the blend rule for that situation. To avoid any problems in the future, we decided to take that rule out altogether. The blend, and this could be, I mean, this blending rule is very interesting. In my opinion, if the guy does a 360, y'all throw the caution and he keeps going. Old school way used to be, if he threw the caution, he kept going, he gets his spot back where he was at when he started to spin out, but kept going. It was on y'all, the track, the judgment person, to throw the yellow to not give him the effort to keep going, which I get it. It's sprint cars. They may die. It's a safety issue. So this blending rule kind of was created. So the statement, it's multiple ways on this. Either, you do it that way, the old school way, or you do it the blend-in rule way, which the blend-in rule, once again, as he says, as the general manager says here, the blend rule has become a judgment call in this sport. It's so true. We feel it's important to make sure our officials and competitors have a clear understanding of a rule so that there are no questions or concerns during the event. And this rule will be implemented going forward, and it'll be implemented on their final showdown on November 12th, the final race of the year out there in PA, I do believe, that BAPS hosts every year. So this is very interesting. So you're going to have people really pissed off like Danny Dietrich, who spins out but keeps going. And now they're going to put him to the back because of the judgment call that an official is going to make that him spinning out is worth throwing a caution. And now that's going to cause a whole new jumble of BS. Because it's like, why'd y'all throw the caution? You kept going in every other class. Modifieds, late models, they spin out. They try to keep going. They don't throw the cautions. But because these cars don't have starters, when a sprint car starts to spin around, they automatically just throw the caution because they're thinking the car's going to die. And if the car comes to a stop, it needs assistance to get going again because it's a direct drive. No starters, all that. So this is going to be a very interesting situation. But honestly, the whole situation did occur between Macri and Dietrich because of this spin-out situation and him getting his spot back at the outside of the front row on the restart. They blended him back in when he was clearly not up that far. When he got his car pointed in the right direction, Macri had already went by him, and that's kind of, you could, if you're any of these cars, you could have, and if you see this wreck right here and you say it's Dietrich's fault for not going, you could pretty much say it's the track's fault for blending them in where they did, that these cars are all destroyed. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm interested to see the live chat on this one. So is it okay to dump anyone you don't think should be there? I don't think that that's what people are saying. They're just simply saying Danny wasn't even supposed to be there. Whether it was dumping or not, my judgment or my judgment of the instance is Danny Dietrich just didn't go. And the car, and Macri had nowhere to go. And if Macri doesn't stand on the gas and maybe bump Dietrich, help him get going. Because that happens a lot, guys. I don't know why people are, why did you even touch him on the restart? There's a lot of times in restarts where a guy does get a late go, and the guy behind him will jump on the gas, hit him in the fucking rear end, and it won't spin him because the guy in front of him is on the gas trying to go when Macri. This is why I say something happened with the car. Because if Macri goes in there and hits him, say Danny just got a bad start and Macri didn't, and he went with the leader because, Peck was, a full 2 car lengths ahead almost when the contact was made. Let's say Dietrich got a late start on the throttle there, and he goes to jump on the gas, and Macri doesn't. And he goes up there. If Dietrich's on the throttle going, even if it's slower than Macri, and Macri just comes up, it should push him and get him going a little quicker to catch back up with Peck. The only way the only way that car gets hit like that by Macri, because it wasn't just like Dietrich was stopped and got hit like that. Dietrich apparently is restarting and trying to go. He's just going a little slower, and that should have pushed him up more. So the only way really that car just snapped around when Macri hit him is that he wasn't under the throttle, and the car didn't have any forward momentum to be pushed forward. It had to be stopped. It had to go back. This is inertia. This is like physics, ladies and gentlemen. So Danny's car didn't go. The guy yelling from the infield when Danny Dietrich is kicking in Anthony Macri's nose wing, kicking in the front of his car, this guy who's defending Macri, screaming, saying, you shouldn't even fucking been there, Danny, is true. He shouldn't have been there. And the track is acknowledging that. Everyone has now acknowledged that he shouldn't have even fucking been there. Now, this guy is a fan. Honestly, and I've noticed this in racing, period. Do we just have too many fans in officiating positions? Because this is a judgment call. Who judged that Danny Dietrich was in second? I've experienced this. I've been in track management. I've been behind the scenes when an official makes, this car goes there, and I'm like, how? That Guy got passed 2 laps ago. I watched it. I was announcing the race. I saw that guy get passed. Personally. So, why is he there? And this is a whole nother situation. I'm just saying, sometimes in officiating crews, we have fans that are sometimes underpaid. Therefore, they use their personal fandom to make judgment calls. That's a big problem in the sport. I hear that happens on the outlaw level. That's what I hear. I don't know if that's fact or fiction, but I hear that happens on the outlaw level, personally.